The 6 kindergarten pupils who perished when their school building collapsed on them at Ban Jamra in the central region have been buried. The burial was witnessed by hundreds of the townsfolk as well as sympathizers who got to hear of the tragedy. There was, however, some controversy over the place of burial for some of the children. Correspondent Richard Kojonyako was with the mourners and now joins me with those details. Good evening to you, Richard. I can imagine it was one sad spectacle. Explain to us what brought about the controversy of the tombs of the deceased children.
Well, so this morning, a delegation went to the Lady of Grace Hospital at Bremen to get the body for burial. And then they had to go to the graveyard to dig some graves for the children. Now, the youth went there to dig the grave, and there was some opposition from some of the residents there. They said that they will not allow the grave to be dug there. And so they had to stop and then went to look for a place near the school where the incident happened. And then they dug it. And then there was also another resistance that, these children, when they are buried there, it will scare the rest of the kids in the school, because the memories about these things alone will scare them, and it will not help or augur well for effective teaching and learning. So an agreement was later reached, and then they had to go back to the cemetery for the grave to be dug. And so eventually everything settled. But the head teacher of the school and some of the teachers said that they were suffering from some attacks, verbal and physical, because, some of the community folks, they think that the teachers could have done better. They could have moved the children away from the structure that collapsed, because they saw what was happening and then they couldn't do anything about it. So the head teacher was instructing with me and said that, well, so he wouldn't be anywhere near where the children are going to be buried. The ceremony came on, a somber and a solemn ceremony, tears from the eyes of so many people. You can imagine mothers and fathers who have lost their children in this kind of tragic accident. So it was so sad. The entire community was thrown into a state of mourning because they didn't know what exactly to do. Some of the colleagues of these people that have died were also there as well. Today, the school session couldn't even go on. They were there and they were witnessing. They had joined their mothers, they accompanied their mothers to where the funeral was being organized. So it was really a sad spectacle to behold, Israel.
All right, you talk about the fact that the head teacher absented himself because he was afraid that they were probably going to hit on him. Were there any of the teachers present? Well,
I could spot 2 of the teachers there, but there are other teachers that, the community people knew very well, and they were very familiar, so it was very easy for them to attack them. They were also casting insinuations on the Methodist Church, because according to them, the Methodist Church is not doing enough to support the school. They cited an example of the Methodist Church itself in the town where a lot of acts have developed, but they are looking on, and they will look on until something unfortunate happens. And in the school, they were also blaming. So the blame game was all over, because they were blaming the district education authorities that they couldn't do something to prevent this occurrence. And the district assembly too, there were some talks about the former chief executive not releasing monies and funds and money for the construction of a new block. The other blocks that are still standing or that are in existence now, they are also in a deplorable state. And if care is not taken and nothing is done about it, we are not going to hear something nice about it again.
Richard, were all 6 deceased children buried today, considering some of them were Muslims whilst others were Christians?
Well, in terms of this calamity, they had to come to a compromise. They reached an agreement, and so all of them were buried today. The district assembly was advised that because they are kids and for health and safety reasons, they did not have to keep these people in the morgue for a very long time. So they all came to an agreement together with the chief and other opinion leaders that all of them should be buried. And so all of them were buried, each with a coffin.
All right, thank you very much, Richard Kojo Nyako. Meanwhile, the Education Committee of Parliament is set to probe the death of the 6 kindergarten children at pupils at Ban Jamra. Ranking member on the committee, Peter Nochu Koto, tells Joy News investigations will soon commence to unravel the circumstances that led to the disaster.
I take it as a very big loss to the parents and the family and the community at large. It's rather unfortunate that it happened, and I think as stakeholders we should try our best to make sure that we prevent events of this nature from occurring again. My sympathy to the bereaved parents and the community. What we need to do is to make sure that we provide the necessary teaching and learning environments, very conducive ones for the communities where we have schools. I was told from investigations that there's an ongoing project in the place, in the school. I think the work delayed, and what we need to do is to make sure that the structures are completed in time for them to go back to school, for normal life to continue. But
the Education Committee, will you be interested in finding out what went wrong, and if possible, assurances that it will not happen again? Will you be interested in summoning the Education Minister?
Yeah, yes. As a committee, we will look at that and find out what caused the delay in the implementation or the completion of the project.
Elsewhere, the Tema office of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, is calling for the immediate closure of the Bachona Community School. This has become necessary due to structural defects rendering the building quite unsafe. The school, built over 2 decades ago, now poses danger to pupils. The directive comes days after the collapse of a school building at Ban Jamra killed 6 kindergarten pupils.
The Bachona Community School is one of several structures damaged in Tuesday night's rainstorm. Tema Metro Coordinator for NADMO, Hajia Zinabu Abdullahi, recommended that the school should immediately suspend operations because their buildings pose a grave danger to pupils. NADMO, together with Member of Parliament for Tema West, Carlos Ahinkra, also visited Klagon, Sakumono, and Lashibi, where other schools were affected by the downpour.
In going rounds, I think the building inspector and the metro engineer realized that some of the schools' blocks have big cracks. And for that matter, they're supposed to be looked at. There's one particular school that I forgot, which is the Bachona Nursery, which is situated at the Tespo Market. I am going to, as a matter of urgency, issue or discuss with the metro coordinator, because it's a disaster zone and anything can happen at any time. Especially looking at the fact that it's a kindergarten too, it stands to reason that we do something as soon as possible before we see any disasters or calamities happening.
At the Agri Road Basic Schools at Tema Community 2, their computer lab was flooded. As a temporary measure, MP for Tema West, Carlos Ahinkra, asked NADMO and engineers from TMA to erect tents in the affected schools.
We are going to put a report together, submit it to our regional office, and then prompt them that it's an emergency situation because it's a school. And we don't want the children to sit at home. So we are going to treat it as an emergency case to put it back so that the children will have access to their classes and go and learn.
The team also visited the African market at Tema Community 2, where part of its roof was ripped off. Traders were assured that a temporary solution will be found, even as the Tema Metropolitan Assembly works on a long-term plan to rebuild the market. Kwame Yankes reports for Joy News.
Now, Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has given strong indications government will be implementing aspects of the amended Companies Act, which makes publicly available ownership of companies and its profits. The amendment of the Act to include beneficial ownership marks a significant victory for anti-corruption campaigners who have for years campaigned. It is crucial in helping to unveil the shady characters who often hide behind corporate identities to engage in corrupt dealings. Dr. Bawumia, speaking at a workshop organized by Transparency International, revealed government plans to provide resources for implementation to help in the fight against corruption. Join us, Joseph Akable has more on this report.
The workshop, organized on the theme Supporting New Beneficial Ownership Transparency Champions, sought to increase understanding of why beneficial ownership is key. It was also to offer participants an opportunity to learn from the experience of other countries. Executive Director of the Ghana Integrity Initiative, the local chapter of Transparency International, urged government to enforce laws against those who go contrary.
There are several things that the new government has promised. Talk about the procurement law and ensuring that we move away from this single sourcing all the time, and making sure also that we implement the recommendations of the Public Accounts Committee. You know how we have not been effective in that area. So when it comes to Ghana, I can assure you we have beautiful legislations, but a major problem has been with implementation of them. As to what we can do to minimize corruption in Ghana, we want to suggest, from the Ghana Integrity Initiative's point of view, it's a sanction, sanction, sanction. The holidays are over. Any government that is serious and committed to the fight against corruption, which your government has promised, would take enforcement of law seriously and sanction of perpetrators seriously.
Delivering a keynote address, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia reiterated government's commitment to set up an Office of Special Prosecutor to help in the fight against corruption.
Corruption is very central to the world's problems, and beneficial ownership is one of the surest ways to deal with this canker. It decapitates public trust in government and may deepen economic and political woes. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has reiterated his commitment to fighting corruption. Hence, the timing of this meeting is important. Our government has already made clear that we will be passing the Right to Information Act. We will make sure that a special prosecutor's office is set up to prosecute corruption, and we will amend the criminal code to move corruption from a misdemeanor to a felony. These are just some of the actions we intend to implement this year.
Dr. Bawumia cited the Panama Papers episode to indicate why government is keen on implementing the beneficial ownership regime. It will require persons who seek to register companies to name all those with interest in the entity. Though passed last year, it is yet to be implemented.
Mr. Chairman, I wish to also reiterate full commitment of our government to provide the needed resources with the support of our development partners to ensure the full implementation of those commitments, which include beneficial ownership, contract transparency, transparency in commodity markets, preventing the facilitation of corruption, transparency in the procurement process, just to mention a few.
The workshop continues on Friday.
You're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break, but still to come in the bulletin. The minority in Parliament has accused the previous NDC administration of hiding figures. We'll be back with that story. Please stay tuned. The majority in Parliament has accused the previous NDC government of massaging figures given to the International Monetary Fund on the health of the Ghanaian economy. This follows the minority's charge at Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia on Wednesday for saying the John Mahama administration failed to disclose expenditure amounting to 7 billion cedis between 2014 and 2016. The minority at the news conference said Dr. Bawumia's claims were based on ignorance. But NPP MP for New Joabing North and Chairman of Parliament's Finance Committee, Dr. Mark Asibe-Abua, disagrees.
The reaction by the former Deputy Minister, Ato Forson, which is sad and deeply worrying, depicts a team that is grossly unaware of the extent to which the nation's books may have been cooked to provide a false sense of good economic management and to deceive investors. More worrying is the fact that the former Deputy Minister attributed the arrears accumulation to reforms underway and the way in which data is captured. What the former Deputy Minister describes as creative accounting management is unethical and dangerous.
Dr. Sibeye Boatol joining you. The fresh figures were revealed to the new government by staff at the Finance Ministry after the NDC lost power. He says the action of the NDC government can result in punitive actions from the IMF.
We are of the view that given that the implementation of the External Credit Facility Program is still underway, the IMF stands in a better position to make some of these issues clear. As to whether this represents a breach of the ECF program conditionalities, we will know by the end of next week when the mission chief is expected to brief donors on his findings. We may recall that under the program, the government is not allowed to accumulate arrears. This may yet represent another serious breach of the program, and if care is not taken, punitive actions could be meted out against Ghana. Let us not forget that a similar occurrence in 2000 led to Ghana being fined $39 million by the IMF.
The Environment, Science and Technology Minister-designate Dr. Kwabena Frimpong Boateng has attributed Ghana's low level of development to the lack of investment in science and technology. He told members of the Appointment Committee of Parliament Thursday what sets the developed world apart from a third world is that they invest more in technology.
The nominee is seeking approval from the committee to begin a new career as a Minister of State in a sector so crucial to the development of the country. Professor Boateng stated that science and technology affect every area of national life and that until deliberate steps are taken to harness the benefits it comes with, the country will lag behind.
Without science and technology, we cannot make it. All nature is science, and everything we do hinges on science. And so first of all, we have to understand the science and technology of things so that we can develop. And that has to start from the homes, from primary school, throughout up to the university level.
The minister also answered questions about how he intends to use science and technology to help develop the country.
We will have to have long-term measures, medium-term and short-term. Long-term meaning that we have to start from a school with STEM, the study of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and let children know why certain things are done. For example, over the years, we've been telling children to wash their hands before eating, or hand washing, but they may not understand why they should wash their hands. So if we could provide children, even in the primary schools, with a magnifying glass or a small microscope, they wash their hands, take a look at the fluid under the magnifying glass, and when they see bacteria swimming, then they will know that there's something there that can harm them. So that is where we have to start. Another area that I think should be done is, for example, just to alert people. Let's say we want to talk about weedicide, the harmful effects of weedicide. The children may not understand, but you tell the children to go to, even their school, an area that has been treated with weedicide. They take soil samples, they go to another area that has no weedicide. They take another soil sample, then they look at it, count the number of insects, worms, and so on. Then they'll see the difference. So from the very beginning, they'll be thinking scientifically. So when we say, don't do this, they'll know why we are not doing it. But coming to our present time, I think we need to create a critical mass of scientists, because the science and technology infrastructure in Ghana is very, very weak.
He stated that despite the achievements and innovations of the founder of the Crystal Asafo Mission, Apostle Kojo Safo, he cannot do everything by himself, adding he would love that the country invest in the training of more scientists.
My friend and brother Apostle Kojo Safo has difficulties. Now, over the years, he's got a lot of ideas. He wants to do things, but it's almost impossible for one person to, let's say, manufacture a car. Because car manufacturers have suppliers, sometimes hundreds or thousands. A car manufacturer, let's say Mercedes or whatever, will not manufacture a tire, will not manufacture a windscreen, will not manufacture a wiper motor, will not manufacture the light. They have suppliers. And so, if we don't have those suppliers, people who can make a boat for you or something for you, it's very difficult. That is why we think that we should get a critical mass of scientists, technologists, and engineers, so when somebody has an idea, that idea can be transmitted to a lot of people and they can take part in that process.
He, however, reminded the appointment committee that he's not allowed to carry the title honourable because he's not a member of parliament.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Honourable nominee, congratulations.
Mr. Chairman, sorry, I beg you. For the past 3 weeks, people meet me and say honourable, but I don't know whether I am honourable. That is not to say that I do dishonourable things. But
Professor Doctor,
am I permitted, because I'm not an MP, so I'm not permitted to carry that big title.
Well,
but a minister who is not an MP is just a minister.
With the leave of the chairman, I confer an honorary.
I'm very grateful.
The second part of Thursday's Ministerial vetting saw the Minister Designate for Railway Development, Joe Gate, give strong indications of government's master plan to expand the rail sector. He contends that the expansion of rail lines will cut down cost of transporting cocoa while increasing profits for farmers.
The fact that minerals is one of the driving forces of factors that leads to railway development cannot be overemphasized. And when you talk about cocoa, I've said before that we talk about cocoa routes. We should rather talk about cocoa transportation, not cocoa routes, because from that stretch I'm talking about, I was even from Awasu to Dunko to Takwa. It's a serious cocoa growing area. And if you use rail for cocoa, it brings down the cost by 25%. When it brings down the cost by 25%, it puts more money in people's pocket, boosts the economy, transforms the country. So, Honourable Member, I agree with you. It is part of our plan. It is part of that phase. And that phase has already started. It has started from in Takrady area. We shall continue to Takwa. That's another section. We shall do Takwa to Dunko and then branch to Awasu. Then we shall continue from Dunko to Kumasi. We shall be developing it in sections.
Mr. Joe Gate also revealed that government has set a target to make the Ghana Railway Company profitable in 3 years. According to him, the new rail sector will see the introduction of new trains running between 100 and 120 kilometers per hour.
We are not going to do trains that belong to the last century. We are going to do trains that belong to this century. If I tell you we are going to do bullet trains, I'll be lying to you. And I've sworn on oath, so I won't engage in lying. But we are moving to trains which go 100, 120 kilometers per hour. If I'm going to my constituency, or if you are going to your constituency, where we are next to each other, somebody who starts from here and is going to Dawaya, hopefully will reach home before the person reaches home.
In a related development, the Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition says it would have wished the Member of Parliament for Sikado, Joe Gate, replaced as chairman of the ad hoc committee set up to probe the parliamentary bribe scandal. Executive Secretary of the coalition, M.F. Fanate, says this is particularly so because he will be seeking the approval of the appointment committee, which he will be investigating. She tells Joy News the fact that Parliament had to fall on an MP who is a minister designate from a total of 275 members is equally curious. The Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition boss is, however, hopeful the committee will do a good job.
Ideally, we have expected that SHRA should be the institution that investigates this matter because the law mandates SHRA as an organization to be able to investigate issues of corruption. Even if it is suspected corruption, SHRA has the mandate to investigate. But once Parliament has been able to set up a committee, we are believing that the committee should be able to work with integrity because this is Parliament's integrity at stake.
What do you make of this member of the committee that's also going to be part of the vetting process?
I think that I have a little problem with Honorable Jogate being the chair. If he was just a member of the committee, I would think that was okay. But once he is the chair, he takes lead, and he's now going to investigate the same committee that he's facing, which I thought was problematic. And I'm not sure what informed the decision to involve somebody who is also going to face the same committee. That I'm not sure why that was done.
So you say Jogate shouldn't have been part of this committee in the first place, right?
No, I mean he shouldn't even be the chair. If he was just a member of the committee, that's what. But as a chair of the committee, that I am not comfortable with.
Per what you're saying, are you suggesting then that the outcome will already be compromised even before it comes out?
Not necessarily. What it means is that now Parliament has a higher standard to uphold. And we are expecting that even though the committee has been set up, we are expecting that the outcome should be something that will not create any doubt in anybody's mind that the outcome is compromised.
You're watching Joy News. When we're taking a break, we'll bring you business news thereafter. Now, the National House of Chiefs has apologized to Ghanaians for the several instances some of its members openly took sides with political parties in the run-up to election 2016. The President of the House, Togbe Afede XIV, bemoaned the extent to which some such conduct tainted the image of the chieftaincy institution. He was addressing the Chiefs' first meeting of the year in Kumasi. Kwesi Debra reports.
We assure you that on 7 December 2016, we shall express our gratitude.
A number of chiefs made several political outbursts in the heat of the 2016 elections. Bese Mancheni Aibunte, for instance, has come under pressure to live by his own word and abdicate. He had publicly declared he would give up his stool if former President Mahama loses last December's election. Togbe Afede, who is also a Bogomefia of the Asogli traditional area, believes such chiefs went beyond bounds.
You recall that the code that we did before the House during the tenure of my predecessors, or that was before us, was consistent with traditional and constitutional requirements. And that is why, among others, it precluded us from participation in active partisan politics. Not all of us have been able to respect these standards. The intention of the leaders of this House to ensure that these standards are observed. But having said that, I would like to apologize on behalf of chiefs who have erred in the past, in particular during the last elections, by adopting partisan positions. And I hope that all of that can be consigned to the dark bin of history, and we can forge ahead as a united people with a common destiny.
The House resolved at the meeting to review the number of its committees from 9 to 6. Each member will serve on a maximum of 2 committees. Togbe Afede explains.
These committees include a new research and traditional affairs committee. You recall that in the past we had a research committee. We have expanded it to include other matters of a traditional nature. So we have a research and traditional affairs committee. We also have land, natural resources, and environment committee. Amalgamation of 3 committees that we previously had. We're guided by the principle that the fewer committees we have to work with, the more efficient we can be. We used to have 9 such committees, which we have reduced to 6. The first, as I said, is the Research International Affairs Committee. Then we have the Land, Natural Resources and Environment Committee. The third committee we have is the Finance and Infrastructure Committee. We also have the External Relations Committee. And then we have the Legal Affairs Committee. And finally, the Governance and Development Committee.
Meanwhile, the chief of Asin Kushia in the Central Region, Ahunabo Brimpra Ajinsem VI, was inducted into the House. Reporting for Joy News, Kwesi Debra.
Now, one of the claimants to the chieftaincy title, Ni Adama Lache, has been directed to vacate the seat or face litigation in court. Ni Dr. Tete Kwe, who says he is the principal kingmaker of the Parliamentary, says the claimant has 14 days to quit. Ni Adama Lache was installed by the Gbese Manche Ni Ayibonte amidst controversy in 2011 and has always been accused of illegally occupying the stool, even though he is not of royal lineage. At a media briefing Thursday, Ni Dr. Tete Kwe described Ni Adama Lache as an imposter, aided by some politicians to create confusion in the Ghana state.
Adama Lache is an imposter. He's gotten to where he is through deception. It is our Justice Council which actually has the power to ensue a Ghana paramount chief. And we have done that other than Adama Lache. So we don't know him as a Gamanche. He was aided in whatever he did through certain politicians who aided him to do that. And those politicians know themselves. They are supposed to be honorables, but they have actually lost it because what they did, they knew was wrong. I am the Justice Chair, I'm the principal chief kingmaker, and I've not put him over there. I don't know him, right? He sent people to come and beg me, and I said I won't do it because he's not qualified. 14 days they must go. And if they say they aren't going, you know, justice must come to play. There are so many cases against him, and we are going to enhance the quality of the cases against him. We are going to enhance the strength of the cases against him. We're going to prove to the whole world that we're wasting our time having this man there parading around that he's a Gamanche when he's not.
Now, some 2 months after offering their services in the December 2016 election, the volunteers are now being paid their allowances across the country. Though excited to finally get paid for their work, some in Kumasi would not agree that deductions are made from it as a show of appreciation to the EC officials disbursing the amount. Law firm's Rastus Donko reports it took the swift intervention of the regional directorate of the commission to avert a possible clash between the volunteers and the officials.
At the Oforikrom Center, long queues of angry people yelled at the pay officers as they heckled each other in an attempt to receive their money. EC officials counted cash to pay over 800 people. Each volunteer was expected to receive between 300 and 400 Ghana cedis, depending on their work schedule at the polls. Alleged deduction of 20 Ghana cedis from each person's money for what is described as appreciation caused a stir.
I officiate on view, so I was supposed to get 3.5. But right now, no, they have deducted 20 cedis from it. What I think is not fair.
For the Asokwa constituency, the PUs, they are deducting 30 cedis. Because they are receiving 1,500 for their pay. I think for Oforikrom, we have about 273 polling stations. And if you calculate the amount that they are taking out from our money, is almost getting getting to 300 million, and it's not fair.
When I asked, what they said was it was a form of appreciation. They deduct 20 cedis, whether you like it or yes.
They told me to give them back 20 cedis. When they came to the room, they said it is a tradition.
I posed as an aggrieved beneficiary and demanded to know why they've deducted 20 cedis from my stipend. Without question or hesitation, two officials conferred with each other, after which one handed a 20 Ghana cedi note to me, supposedly as refund. After presenting the evidence to one of the supervisors, he offered this explanation.
It's a system whereby on table they will give you your money. What we know that these people, when they are taking them, they talk to them that when your allowance comes, at least you should give us something. But it's not fixed and it's not it's optional. And this returning officer shouldn't have entertained that.
Word soon got to the EC director, Srebo Kweku, who intervened by ordering the unlawful deduction to be stopped. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko.
Now, illegal felling of rosewood trees is becoming rife in the Upper East region, with residents in the affected areas worried the situation could lead to a serious depletion of the region's vegetative cover and the extinction of existing wildlife. Upper East correspondent Albert Sori has more.
With its reddish-brown hue and strongly marked grain, rosewood is highly sought after to make furniture that sell for a huge profit. This prized tree is found all over the Upper East region, or rather, it used to be. Almost each day, trucks loaded with rosewood casually cart away logs that were once a vital part of the local ecosystem. For a region in the savannah with shorter rainy seasons, rosewood trees have for decades served as vegetative cover and protected endangered wildlife. However, widespread illegal logging, driven by high local and international demand, is threatening the trees and, by extension, environmental sustainability in the region. Last year, authorities in a number of municipal and district assemblies clamped down on rampant illegal lumbering. Former District Chief Executive for the Busa Sub-District, Elizabeth Jane Afuk, for example, led a task force that impounded truckloads of rosewood timbers within her area.
This thing has been going on, the lumbering has been going on for some time now, and we have tried all our best. We arrest some of the trucks carrying the things, the logs, and we take them to the police station. We have sent some to court. They have charged them, they have paid the fine that they have given them, and the things have also been auctioned. But all the same, other people are still coming in. We are trying to flush out everybody, but still they are coming in and disturbing a lot. So this time around we said no, if we don't bring people, stronger people in, they will keep on doing. The assemblymen all have been out to help for us to flush all these people out, but still we are not able to handle it. And so this time around we decided that we should bring in the army into the forest.
However, the task force operations were short-lived. The authorities went back to slumber, and the illegal loggers came back, cutting down the trees with ferocity. In the Kasna-Nankana municipality, Bulsa North and South, and Boko West districts, cargo trucks frequently carry away hundreds of rosewood logs for sale in Accra. Natives of the Kayoro town in the Kasna-Nankana West district recently decided to act and protect their forest reserves.
They are cutting down the trees, cutting down everything and clearing with their cars, with their cranes, and clearing everything. So I contacted the Forestry Commission. They said they didn't give them license to come and cut the trees, and that they are protecting all the reserves. So if they cut trees, it will be inside the community. They can't cut trees in the forest reserve. That's what the Navrongo forest manager told me.
This truck driver was cited during the operation by the Kayoro natives. He said he had come all the way from Tema in the Greater Accra region and has been transporting rosewood logs to the capital for quite a long time. However, he could not tell who his employer was.
Do you have a sample? Do you have a sample of it?
I know the type of the paper.
No, but do you have a sample of it?
No.
So how do you travel?
So
after
you finish, they'll give you the paper.
Who will give you?
The white.
So the white will come here?
Definitely he will come
before this car moves.
Seriously. Because without the white, the person cannot move.
So when is he coming?
I don't know.
5 persons were arrested during the operation by the Kayoro natives. But surely, citizen vigilantes would not be enough to stop what is becoming a lucrative illegal business operated by what looks like a well-coordinated syndicate. So, what is the Ghana Forestry Commission doing about this? Joy News spoke to the Upper East Regional Manager of the Ghana Forestry Commission, James Wari, who first explained how the illegal felling of rosewood came about.
Now, the issue of rosewood became very common in the northern sector of the country when it was found to be of value during the construction of the Boy Dam. So permit was given for people to remove those trees in order to prevent waste. And similarly, it was found along the Fufusu Damango Solar Road during construction. We had to remove this wood so that we can export to get revenue into the country, which will also help our nation.
James Wari added that inadequate staffing at the Forestry Commission makes it difficult to effectively monitor forest reserves in the hinterlands. For Joy News, Albert Sori, reporting from Bolgatanga.
Now, Joine's investigations have confirmed the existence of 2 communities overtaken by gunmen, vigilante groups, and so-called gold merchants. The police last year denied the existence of Dollar Power and Bole Accra, where former Ivorian rebels are controlling large swathes of illegal mine sites and raining terror on residents. Joy News' investigative journalist Kwete Nate has ever been to these communities to see for himself and put together a documentary. Let's watch this preview.
In areas where the government has little control, insecurity is a big problem. This is a fact not lost on Mumi and other small-scale miners here.
In case you get money here, some are also here, which they don't work. They're also here because of that job. If you get money and you misbehave, then they'll attack you and collect the money through if you are going home.
Okay. We also do understand that sometimes rebels, extort money from you people. Tell me about that.
If you are not careful, they will attack you because somebody is there looking for that kind of money and the fellow is not, he or she is not getting it. And you've gotten it and you are misbehaving, the fellow can attack you and collect the money.
Some go the extra mile to consult malams and spiritualists for protection here.
You can go to a big malam or a herbalist man, so you need a help. Something that he or she may give you something to protect yourself in case of working. The way you would have suffered before getting it, you will not suffer like that.
So some of you sometimes consult spiritualists to help you?
Yeah, or malam. Or if you have somebody who's also having income, the fellow is having small from somewhere, the fellow can support you with income money so that through that money to tend you can become somebody.
This explains the reason why there are many checkpoints manned by local gunmen. I counted nearly 9 of these checkpoints on my way to Dollar Power and Accra. They provide protection to the thousands of men who dig the earth and hit the rocks with pickaxes in search of gold. Some are unfriendly and would pull the trigger if they sense danger.
Now, the documentary will be aired on this channel on Monday, so do stay tuned for that. Up next, we have entertainment with Ms. G.